Probably a year or so ago, somebody asked me what I thought about the Christian nativist movement. I never even heard of the Christian nativist movement. I looked into it, and it was very interesting that back years ago, back in the 19th century, a lot of Christians in this country were actually fighting against a lot of the Roman Catholic immigrants being brought into this nation to destroy this nation. And happening today too with the Mexicans that are being brought in and everything else. All the radical Catholic Mexicans that are being brought in, and yet Chinese, and then there's others that are being brought in too. Huge numbers through the southern border. Yeah, it's a warfare technique, brethren. You bring in lots of people to eat up the substance of those that are in the land, and you destroy them that way. But did a little bit of research, and I've looked into some of this Christian nativist stuff, but I'll read some things here on this paper here. It says, in favor of the protection of American mechanics against foreign pauper labor, foreigners having a residence in the country of 21 years before voting, our present free school system carrying out the laws of the state as regards sending back foreign paupers and criminals. Happening today again with the southern border thing. Opposed to, these are the things they're opposed to: papal aggression and Roman Catholicism. All Roman Catholics have two allegiances: to the Vatican first, and second to their country. And if the Vatican says overthrow your country, they'll do it. Go out and kill Protestants, they'll do it. Okay, right now we're under the Second Vatican Council, the Ecumenical Council, but that's going to go away eventually. When the Catholics have enough power in this nation, they'll rise up and start killing Bible-believing Christians and anybody else that protests their system. You know, that's why you have to fight against them. Foreigners holding office. Yeah, that's a good thing. Raising foreign military companies in the United States. Yeah, that doesn't happen today, does it? Sleeper cells and everything else in this nation. Nunneries and the Jesuits. We're opposed to the Jesuits. Very significant thing coming up here with that. To being taxed for the support of foreign paupers, millions of dollars yearly. Foreign paupers. People coming in, and we're being taxed for that. We have to pay for them. All the free things that these people are given. Disgusting. To secret foreign orders in the U.S. I'm definitely opposed to that as well. We are burdened with enormous taxes by foreigners. We are corrupted in the morals of our youth. We are interfered with in our government. We are forced into collisions with other nations. We are tampered with in our religion. We are injured in our labor. We are assailed in our freedom of speech. Still going on right now, brethren. Isn't that something? Oh, such a terrible movement. Some Hollywood movie came out about, showing Christian nativists killing Catholics and whatever. They always spin things. It's just ridiculous. But disgusting. But check this thing out. This is NBC News Learn. All right, let's watch this real quick here.
Immigrants in the 1840s and 50s inflamed national prejudices. Many Americans feared Irish and German immigrants would outbreed, outvote, and outwork native-born Americans. Anti-immigrant groups quickly formed and began to call themselves nativists.
Nativism is not just simply the irrational hatred of newcomers.
Okay, Edward T. O'Donnell. Now, do you remember one of the groups that the nativists were against? They were against Jesuits. History professor, Holy Cross College. What's Holy Cross College? I wonder. I just wonder. The Holy College of the Holy Cross is a private Jesuit liberal arts college in Worcester, Massachusetts. You mean to tell me that they would have a nativist video and have a Jesuit professor speaking? But I'm sure that they're going to have a Protestant come in and give his thoughts on it, right? Let's continue.
Fear of foreigners and fear of people who are different. You can actually break nativism down into a series of themes, series of issues that people worry about. One of them is certainly economic. Immigrants represent, in many people's minds, job competition. They are willing to work for less, therefore they'll pull people's wages down.
Nativists also feared the growing political power of immigrants as Irish and German immigrants filled America's cities and earned the right to vote.
They're able to greatly influence and essentially take over the political systems in these cities, including big cities like New York and Boston, Philadelphia. So there's fear that there's literally this immigrant takeover politically taking place.
Did it happen? Yes. Oh, the nativists were afraid of these things happening, and well, they did happen. So I guess the nativists were right.
But more than anything, nativists mistrusted the religious beliefs that the new immigrants brought with them from Europe.
That's probably the number one consistent concern of nativists, is that these immigrants are, the majority of them are Catholics. Almost 100% of the Irish that are coming after the 1830s are Catholic immigrants, and about 50% of the Germans that arrive in this time period are Catholics. America has long had an anti-Catholic tradition. Goes back into the colonial period. And this is
Well, why? Why? Oh, I don't know. Over 1,000 years of Dark Ages, the Roman Catholics persecuting Bible-believing Christians and heretics, burning them at the stake, the Spanish Inquisition. I don't imagine why Americans would be so anti-Catholic.
part of America's heritage, that it was founded largely, very self-consciously, as a Protestant nation. Americans thought of themselves as Protestants and were steeped in the fears and concerns of Protestants about Catholics going back to the Reformation and even before then. They saw the Pope not as a religious figure, they saw him as a player, as a king in Europe who meddled in political affairs, who got involved in wars, who started wars.
Yeah, it's called the spiritual and temporal swords of the Vatican, official Catholic doctrine.
Nativists saw the multiplying numbers of Irish and German Catholics as a conspiracy by the Pope to take over the Republic. In America's biggest cities, Nativist groups attacked and burned Catholic churches, schools, even orphanages. As these small anti-immigrant groups grew in number, they formed a new political party called the Know Nothing Party.
Well, the Know Nothings is kind of a nickname that applied to the American Party, and they get the name from the secrecy that surrounded the organization. The rule was, if you were asked about the organization, people said, "What is this group you belong to?" You were ordered to answer, "I know nothing."
The Know Nothings ran candidates for political office in state after state in the Northeast. They vowed to pass restrictive immigration laws, like one that would make immigrants wait 21 years before they could become voting citizens, and another that would prevent anyone who wasn't a native-born American from holding any political office. In 1854, the Know Nothing Party had their largest victory in the country, capturing the governor's office in Massachusetts, the entire state Senate, and the House of Representatives. But once they came into power, the Know Nothings never passed the tough anti-immigration measures that they promised, and by ignoring the growing issue of slavery, they became irrelevant to both Northerners and Southerners. Eventually,
Yeah, it's called the whole movement was infiltrated by Freemasons, which were controlled by the Jesuits. Yeah, they brought it to nothing.
the Know Nothing Party dissolved, and many of their supporters gravitated to the Republican Party, formed in 1854. The Know Nothings would no longer be a viable party, but as long as immigrants kept arriving in America, anti-immigrant feelings would continue to grow.
So, there's anti-immigration stuff, and there's bad things out there because people were so paranoid that they thought that it would actually ruin the country, as it's ruined the country. See how the Jesuits do things? They'll come out and they'll tell you the truth of what people felt, and that they thought it would ruin the country, and then just not say to the fact that yes, it did actually ruin the country. So. This nation is gone, and we all just have to pray and seek the Lord's will as America falls apart, as armies of people are brought in here to destroy this nation. Perilous times shall come, brethren. They're here, and it's just going to get worse from here. Don't worry about being some kind of massive soul-winning Christian, whatever else. You just pray for God to give you divine appointments, and just say, Lord, if there's somebody out there that needs to be saved, that genuinely will be saved and not just fake me out or something, tell me what they think I want them to hear or whatever, then okay, witness to that person. But our main thing right now is we need to pray for the destruction of this nation. America is too far gone to bring back. And the movement that will come in the future will be an alt-right movement. Although they could use the left to rise up so powerfully, if they, can make things happen, then they can come after us with that. So um, it's a very trying time, brethren. If you've seen my other video, they're banning the King James Bible in Utah schools, and hey, they could these perverts and things. They could just keep on pushing until they start to get the right to kill us. So it's kind of, what do you want to do? Let the trad cat come to power, the alt-right, or the insane communistic liberal left come to power, and they want to kill us as well. We need to see some major chaos type of things happen, that hopefully a lot of these people can fight each other, and then we can be kind of step back and left alone. But just insane. Wanted to make a video on both those issues, and but don't pray for America, brethren, unless it's praying for God's judgment of this nation. It needs to be judged. So I'm going to stay on the firing line, Lord willing, no matter what. Please do pray for our safety. Our office is right here on the main street. Thankfully, there's not a lot of huge amounts of liberals or anything, but we could be attacked, and I'm not going to change. I'm going to do my very best to stand and fight with the sword of the Spirit. So that is going to be it. Please do keep us in your prayers. Thank you for watching.